Hello, welcome to this Microsoft Excel lesson. I am your host and instructor, Ruben Herrera. And on this lesson, my friends, we are gonna continue to learn different ways to use the VLOOKUP. And now we're gonna learn three different ways to use VLOOKUPs. Now, on the first example, we're gonna learn how to use a VLOOKUP with an approximate match. Yes, this is a different use for a VLOOKUP. So this is my example, my friends, right here. I have some sales people right here that these people, this is from the liquor industry. We're gonna just pretend this. And these people right here, these are salespeople, and they're selling cases of wine. And these are how many cases of wine they are selling at a certain time, maybe a month or so. I don't know. But anyways, for every 1,000, these people have their base salary. But for every 1,000 cases of for every 1,000 cases of wine that they sell, they're gonna get a $100 bonus on their paycheck, additionally besides their salary. So this is a very lucrative job and business if you know how to use it. But that's for another topic. Our job is going to be to figure it out. Okay, how much money on bonuses these salespeople are going to get. Obviously, if they sell from 0 up to 1,000 cases, they're not going to get nothing. But if they sell 1,000 cases of wine or more, they get $100 up to 2,000. If they sell 2,000 or more, it's 200. If they sell 3,000 cases, it's up to 4,000. They're gonna get $300. And if up to 4,000, that is, and if they sell 4,000 or more, they get 400 and $500 for 5,000 cases and so on. Okay, so for this, we're going to use a VLOOKUP with an approximate match, my friends. And this is how it's used, okay? So for example, right here, if we were going to do this manually, it'll take a long time. For example, we can tell right here that Amy is sold 4,222 cases of wine. So she is on the 4,000 cases sold range, so she should get a $400 bonus check besides her salary. And the same for Carlene, she sold above 2,000 cases, so she's on the 2,000 cases sold range, so she should get $200, and so on for everybody. If we were doing this manually, and I'm sorry for being repetitive, but if we were doing this manually, it'll take a long time. So let us go ahead and do our VLOOKUP with an approximate match, okay? So right here, I'm gonna do equals VLOOKUP, okay? My lookup value is gonna be this right here. This is what I'm gonna look for, or that I'm gonna use to identify what I'm looking for. My table array, I'm gonna use these two columns in here. I can also do this if I want, but if I do, I'm gonna have to also lock the range with F4. Okay, that's no problem. But I'm just gonna go back. I'm just gonna select the two columns. I think it's easier for me at this point. There you go. Comma. My column index number is gonna be what I want to retrieve is on the second column, so it's gonna be 2. Comma. Now, do I want this to be true or false? This time, my friends, I'm gonna do true like this. Okay, true, and I'm gonna explain why here in a minute. And I'm going to close my parentheses. So here is my VLOOKUP, my friends. Very powerful and very geeky, very small. But you guys know how this VLOOKUP works now because you guys are awesome. And I want well, before I go into that, for the geeks, this is for the geeks. The last argument in our VLOOKUP is not required. So if you want to, you can just forget right here about the last argument and you only use the first 3, and the default behavior of the VLOOKUP is going to be true or approximate. Okay, however, this is for the geeks. However, for my teaching purposes, and I need to make sure that everyone understands, and I'm using the easiest possible methods of teaching for my students, I'm going to go ahead and add the 4th argument, and I'm going to go ahead and select true. I'm going to press enter to take this for the test drive. Boom, there you go, 400. Correct. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and populate the rest of the column in here. Double click. Cha-chin. There you go. Very nice. Everybody got a bonus on this chart, on this report, except one loser. Oops. I wonder who that was. So anyways, if you notice right here, the way our VLOOKUP works, my friends, our VLOOKUP right here, let me use for example, yeah, I'm going to use Amy. So my VLOOKUP right here, notice that Amy got 4,222 cases of wine sold. So it's going to go, my VLOOKUP is going to start looking right here. 0, no. 1,000, no. 2,000, no. 3,000 cases, no yet. 4,000 cases, well close, but not yet. And then when it finds 5,000, it's going to, oops, wait a minute. I went too far. So the VLOOKUP now will actually just go back one record or one level above, which is 4,000, which is the range of the amount of cases that Amy sold. So that's why Amy gets that $400 bonus according to the 4,000 cases. Now, my friends, in order for also this to work correctly, you have to make sure that your lookup values right here and your bonus ranges or your bonus brackets are also in chronological order and are from smaller to larger. Okay, this is a key. This is very important. Make sure that you have right here your values on your table or on your database in chronological order on the way you want, the bonuses or the increases or the decreases or the percentages to, or the tax brackets that you want to give. Make sure they are in chronological order and make sure that they are on a smaller to the biggest values like this. Very nice, my friends. Very nice. And I'm going to show right here my VLOOKUP just one more time for you. All right, let us go into our next example, my friends. Now what we're going to do, so far we have learned how to do VLOOKUPs where we're only retrieving one thing. But what if we wanted to retrieve a whole line of records right here? Like, for example, on this database, I have some customers addresses or some customers information, and I have the customer ID right here. And what I want to do, I like to retrieve the customer ID. And remember, so far we've been retrieving only one thing, but I want to retrieve the whole, the whole record right here, the whole enchilada. Yes, one can say that I can turn this into a table or add filters and this will also solve the problem. Yes, it will work, but remember, my friends, in the real world, if you have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of records of, I'm thinking of access. If you have hundreds of thousands of rows on your Excel spreadsheet, that may not be a very efficient way. VLOOKUPs are faster and easier on the memory on your computer. So let us go ahead and do a VLOOKUP with full record. This is going to be very geeky, my friends, so just bear with me, okay? Remember, my friends, this is a pre-recorded video, so feel free to pause me, rewind me, forward me, forward this video, do whatever you like with it, well, not whatever you like with it, but during this lesson, if pause it if you feel a little bit overwhelmed. All right, so let us go ahead and do our VLOOKUP. So what I want to do, the goal is to type the customer ID here and be able to retrieve all the information. Okay, so I'm gonna put right here a whole bunch of VLOOKUPs in here, but what I'm gonna do, my friends, is that I'm gonna do this easier and efficiency, but only typing one VLOOKUP right here. This is where all the action is going to happen, and then I'm going to populate these VLOOKUPs going down this way. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this VLOOKUP. Okay, very nice. So before I actually go into this VLOOKUP now, what I want to do, I want to talk to you guys about another function right here that is called column. The column function in here, look, I'm going to select E right here. The column function only requires one argument. And let me press enter so that I can take this for a test drive for you. You see, I have the number 5. What is the number 5 telling me? It's telling me that this column right here that I selected is column number 5 on my spreadsheet. Do I have to select a column? No, I don't. I can also select just a cell if I want to, any cell, and the column function will retrieve the column number what that selected cell is. There you go. In this case, number 5 again. Very good. Now, that being said, now let us go ahead and do our VLOOKUP. Okay, I'm going to start with equals VLOOKUP. Okay, the lookup value is going to be right here, my friends. Okay, now I'm going to populate this VLOOKUP going down to my right hand side, and I want all these VLOOKUPs that I'm going to populate. Remember, my friends, we have to think ahead. We have to think for the future. Okay, so I'm going to populate this down, but what's going to happen when I fill my VLOOKUPs down to the right? My references, this is what I call not my cells, but my references, what I'm clicking and what I'm pointing and clicking is also going to shift. And I don't want that to happen. I want all my VLOOKUPs to always come back and look at this customer ID. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this VLOOKUP. And how do I lock this reference right here? Okay, by pressing F4, the F4 key. Remember that? Very good. Comma. My table array. My table array is going to be this, my friends. Very nice. Yet, I'm going to populate my VLOOKUP down, and I want also all this range also to be locked. So I'm also going to F4 it. Very nice, F4, comma. My column index number. Well, in the case of this VLOOKUP, I want my VLOOKUP to look at this column in here, this column right here, column B, to retrieve the first name. But remember, I'll have to put column number 2. But then as I populate my VLOOKUP to the right, because I am actually typing, not selecting the column, I'm typing the number 2. The number 2 as a value is going to stay. It's not going to, when I populate it over, it's not going to change. So for that, I need to use the column function. Column. And I'm going to select this right here, this cell. Just to be politically correct, I can select column B if I want to, but I'm just going to select this cell in here. Because as I populate this, and the reason why I want to use this column function is because as I populate this VLOOKUP down to the right, this column number is also gonna shift and change for me. So this is the only reference that I'm not gonna lock. I'm gonna leave this like this. Very nice. Comma. I want this to be true or false. I want this to be false. I want this to be an exact match. Excellent. I'm gonna close my parenthesis. Very nice. That's my VLOOKUP, my friends. So now I'm going to take my VLOOKUP for a test drive and make sure that it is correct and that I'm giving you guys the correct information. I'm going to press enter. Excellent. Let me see. I'm going to put this number right here, customer ID 100. Excellent. It's giving me this name, Lucinda. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and populate. I still have to populate the rest of my VLOOKUP so that I can have my full record. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Like this. Boom. Excellent. Right here. It looks like it gave me a full record. Very, very, very nice. And this is my VLOOKUP right here, my friends. Okay. I'm going to let you look at it again so that you can look at it, visualize it, embrace it, love it. Now, this is for just one record. Should you wanted to do several records going down like this, you will have to change something right here just on the first argument of your VLOOKUP. I believe you have to unlock either the row or the column. I'm not sure right now on top of my head. Let me see. Let me figure this out for you. Very good, my friends. So what we have to do right here, if I wanted to do more record than this, all I have to do on this VLOOKUP, I have to do what we call a mixed reference. A mixed reference in here. So notice that I have right here the currency symbol in front of the K for the column and the currency symbol in front of the 4 for the row. So what I have to do, I have to go back and erase the currency symbol in front of that 4 so that way it'll lock the column but not the row number. Okay, so this is if I want to do multiple full records. Okay, so I'm just take that off right there. You see what I did? I take the currency symbol in front of the 4, press enter. Now I'm gonna populate down my VLOOKUP like this, okay? And after I do this, I'm gonna go ahead and populate this down. Very nice. Now it looks like I can do several, very good. I can do several, there's not an 11. Let's do 110. There you go. So it looks like now I can do several full records at the same time. And it was just very simple just by doing this very small modification in this VLOOKUP, which I am presenting to you one more time. All right, my friends, very good, very good. Let us go into our last VLOOKUP example. All right, my friends, for our last example, for our last VLOOKUP, very geeky VLOOKUP, we are gonna do right here. Oops. We're gonna go ahead and go into our last example. What we're gonna do, my friends, for this VLOOKUP, so far we learned how to do VLOOKUPs that look at one lookup value at one thing to retrieve another thing, or now to retrieve a full record. But now what we want to do, my friends, we want to do a VLOOKUP that we look at two lookup values, that will look at two different um, criterias, and instead of just one, how we've been doing on past exercises. For example, right here I want to do a VLOOKUP where I want to know the population density, and I have right here most of the United States cities, not all of them, but I have most of the United States cities right here. And I want to find out what is the population density for a city. But here's the problem that I run into it. So this is the problem that I'm running into. For example, I want to know the population for the city of Arlington. Okay, but here is my problem. There are actually 21 cities or places in the United States which are named Arlington. We have Arlington, Illinois, Arlington, Arizona, Arlington, Kentucky, and I really want to know what is the population of Arlington, Texas. Okay, so that being said, I will have to do a VLOOKUP, but with more than one criteria, not just with the city name, not only with the name of the city, but also with the name of the state. Unless I have it together on the same column, that will be easier. But if I don't, for example, on this report right here, I have the city and the state separated. So in this case, I need to have two lookup values or two different criterias to be able for me to look up at the population density for that specific city. Now, my friends, disclaimer: I don't have all the cities in the United States here, but I have most of them. Okay, so let us go ahead and do a VLOOKUP with two lookup values or with two lookup criterias. Okay, my friends. So to do that, this is the only way I know it. First, I'm gonna have to prep my Excel spreadsheet so that I can use it with two lookup values. This is the only way I know how to do it, and I'm pretty sure there's a different way to do it somewhere there, but this is the way I do it. So what I need to do, my friends, I'm going to go ahead right here. I have my two criterias right here, and this is where all the action is going to happen. And I'm going to type right here the name of the city and my state. Now, two references, two criterias, and I'm going to get the population density. So here on my spreadsheet is already prepped, like um, the way I, oh, what's the word that I want to use? The way I advise, or the way is preferred that you have your spreadsheet, okay? So my spreadsheet is already prepped, but I have to do one more thing when it comes to a VLOOKUP with two lookup values. I'm going to go ahead right here and click right here, right next to my two criterias right here. I'm going to go ahead and insert a new column, like so. Very nice. I'm going to make this just a little wider because I'm going to need to do that. And right here, my friends, remember when we learned earlier in our course, we learned about join. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the join symbol right here. I'm going to use this, point and click this. Okay, and then I'm going to just join, which is the %. I'm going to use double quotations, and I like to use vertical stick, but you can use comma if you like to, or comma space if you like to. Okay. I'm going to use vertical stick, quotation marks, and then I'm going to do join again, and I'm going to do the state right here. Very nice. So my friends, it look better if you want to use a comma if you like, but I'm just used to use vertical stick because it just works better for me. Very nice. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh, this is what I accustomed. I'm going to go ahead and populate right here my column. There you go, Abilene, Texas. I'm going to go ahead and populate this. There you go. Very nice. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see better. Very nice. There it is. So what I did right here, okay, I joined these two cells right here by using the join command or the join symbol thingy in Excel. Very nice. Now what I'm going to do for my VLOOKUP, I'm going to do the same VLOOKUP that you guys already know that we've been using, but I'm going to use it also along with that join symbol. So I'm going to do this equals VLOOKUP. My lookup value is going to be this, and then and these two, but I'm going to do the exact same thing with join on this column in here. Okay, so I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to go back this way, lookup, and then I'm going to do join. Because VLOOKUPs cannot really look at two different lookup values. So we have to we have to trick that VLOOKUP into look into two different things for us. The VLOOKUP cannot really do it, but what we're doing, we're using this clever trick to do it. So I'm going to do that. Quotation marks, vertical stick, because I did vertical stick. If you did comma space, you have to do comma space here. I did vertical stick, so I'm going to do vertical sticks. There you go. Then I'm going to do join again. And then I'm going to do this right here. Very nice. So that's my first lookup value. That's my first argument for my VLOOKUP. I'm going to go ahead and press comma. My table array, well, I'm actually going to start right here from this column. I don't need these two columns anymore. However, I need to leave them because if not, this column will disappear or will give an error. Now, do I need to select this whole array? Because all I need is the population. So technically, I don't need to select all the way down to column H. I can just select until column G, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth column on my database selected. Very nice. So I'm going to put comma 5. And then for my last argument, this is going to be false. It's going to have to be an exact match. So this is so that make sure I enter and correct spell, or the way it's spelled in the report at least. Enter the correct city and state. I'm going to close my parentheses. Very nice. And I'm going to go ahead and press enter. Very good. Now I'm going to take this for the test drive. So I'm going to make sure first that I know how to spell the city Abilene, Texas, because I make this mistake all the time. Okay. So I'm going to put right here Abilene, and then I'm going to put Texas in here. Enter. Yay! Population density. There you go. So let us pretend that I entered the wrong city. I'm going to put another state. I'm going to put Colorado. Oops, it did not work. There is no Abilene, Colorado. So I'm going to go back. Abilene, Texas. Yes, there is an Abilene, Texas in there. Very nice. So this, my friends, this is how we do a VLOOKUP that is looking at two lookup values. Remember, I can also use my if error function so that I can do like a custom message saying please enter correct, or enter city and state, or enter correct city on a state. Very nice. Very nice. All right, my friends, thank you so much for being with me. Thank you so much for enduring this time with me and for being stuck with me. I thank you so much for keeping me employed. You guys take care of yourselves and have a great day.